Hi, this is Investing Just Joey Style. This is Finance and Investing Just Joey Style. And this video is going to be a little different than other ones that I've done because I want to tell you exactly why I am growth, aggressive, and as safe as possible in my investing stance. And I will explain to you what my thesis is behind my portfolio. So you'll notice my portfolio is very heavy one company right now. It takes up more than 90% of my portfolio, and there's a reason for that. Now, I'm not saying that I'm only putting money in one place. That is very different. I have 4 other stocks that I'm building positions around too, but this one's the most important to get to my position size first. So, yes, diversification is important, absolutely. And I'm pretty well diversified anyhow. But being dialed in is almost more important than diversification. So if you know what you're talking about, if you know what to look for, if you understand your company and your business, you need less diversification because you know where to put your money because you've done the research. Now, how can I be so daggone confident in what I'm doing? Because, well, I've made a daggone ridiculous amount of mistakes, and I can somewhat predict the future. You're like, how in the world you do that? Because we've been doing it for years. You can get pretty good ideas with decades. You can get pretty good ideas of what's going to work out in the future based upon what's happening now. Okay? So I'm going to explain to you this. It's probably going to be a semi-long video, but it's worth it. So, crypto, AI, digital assets, digital assets, and digital infrastructure. Digital, AI, crypto. There's a lot of things that you can't physically hold. So that scares the willies out of some people. And every time I talk to anybody about crypto, so I'm telling you right now, the biggest opportunities that you're going to be faced with in front of you to make money is in crypto and also AI and a combination of the two. So, doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in the crypto market because it's a little bit more confusing if you're not used to it. If you're better at the stock market, you can play crypto in the stock market too. So, I choose to play it in the stock market because I understand the stock market better than the crypto market on how to make money and how it works. I have both stocks and crypto, but anyhow, now I'm rambling. So, crypto. When I have a conversation with a couple family members, and my sister sometimes is like, I don't want to lose my money, my physical money. Like, you're not necessarily going to lose your physical money, and it's not always about like money being completely digital. Eventually that'll probably happen. But we've been doing this for years. I mean, think about it. It was either early 90s, late 80s is when the internet came out. That's extremely digital. That was 35 years ago. 35 years ago, the internet. So we've been digital for 35 years. And just 10 years after the internet came out, the dot-com bubble is kind of what happened. So it got adopted really widely, and everybody started putting their name on it because they realized how big this was going to be. Well, crypto itself has been around for 16-ish years. It's the biggest fly I've ever seen. But anyhow, so it's been around for a very long time. So it's a very interesting asset, and it's the first asset class that we've had since oil in the 1850s. But it's such an interesting asset because we kind of have a jump start on it. It's not everything, but a lot of the big players have had 10-ish years or more to establish themselves. So this is something that's been establishing itself for 10, 15 plus years, and it hasn't really been widely adopted, and people are scared of it because there's not been a lot of regulations behind it, so you can't. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West. And just a year ago, the United States government was still fighting to abolish crypto basically entirely. they were fighting to just get rid of it with like choke point 2.0 and stuff. Now, the United States government is 100% backing crypto. That's an insane 180. So the opportunity that we have in front of us for this asset is insane, and I'm going to explain to you why. Like I said, this video might get a little bit long, but Bitcoin is the greatest asset of all time, hands down. And if you haven't studied Bitcoin for hundreds of hours, you don't know as much about Bitcoin as I do. And I'm not being ignorant, I'm just being very confident because, yeah, I like to be very informed on why I buy. Now, I can explain to you a little bit, but you have to know it yourself too. But I'm extremely well researched on everything that I invest in, trust me, because I made mistakes in the past and I was extremely well researched, but I mistook trading and investing, not anymore. So one of the things that we need to look at, and this is why I'm very aggressive and very growth oriented, because I don't understand why you wouldn't want to be, because the more money that you have, and what my outlook on money is, it's not greed. Just because you want more money, it's not greedy. Greed's an intention. And greed is when you don't want anybody else to have any or have less than you do. I want everybody to do better. That's why I created this channel. But the more money we have, the less percentage we need to make money. So I'm planning to retire in about 5 years. I'm 40 years old and I want to retire by the time I'm 45. So the more money that I have, the less percentage gains I need to get certain amounts. So if I have 100 grand and I get 10% for a year, I make 10 grand. But if I have $1 million and I make that exact same 10% return, I made $100,000. 10 grand, I probably can't live for a year on. 100 grand, I definitely can live for a year on 100 grand. So the more money that we have, the easier it is to live without losing our wealth. Okay? That's my whole thing. So I look at things that are very niche or niche specific and look to the future and why I think they're going to be better. So, and I'm going to explain to you why this is using Blockbuster. Yeah, something that doesn't exist anymore. But I also want to come over to another whiteboard, because I have whiteboards freaking everywhere because this is what I do. And explain to you digital, because people are scared of digital. And I don't know why, because, well, look, you're watching this on a digital screen right now. Just about everybody has a cell phone in their pocket or very close to them. Tablets, laptops, the internet. I mean, everything's digital. There's touch screens in cars. I mean, we've been becoming more and more digitized for years. And it'll start to accelerate a little bit faster because innovation and adaptation. So these are two extremely key things to think about when we're investing. Now, investing long term. So investing, to me, the shortest time frame that you should have on an investment is 5 years, because things take time to do. Think about building stuff. Think about building a house or making something, creating a whatever, a painting, writing code, whatever it is. Things take time. So investments should be 5 years, absolute minimum. Anyhow, innovation, adaptation. If you don't have that, you're not going to survive. Crypto. Don't look at crypto as currency. So a lot of people, cryptocurrency, there's a severe injustice to me to call it cryptocurrency. It should be called crypto or just cryptography. Just look at it as crypto, a different asset class. It's code. So I don't know what exactly made the internet. I don't know what made it work. I don't know what it took. I know it took forever to make it, and people thought the guy was nuts. But I know there was an absolute absurd amount of work on something that I could probably maybe never fully understand. But I understand to a degree what the internet is and what it does and why people like it and what utility and value, just straight value, not even utility, value. Utility is value, but I'd rather use the word value. So I can understand the value that the internet brings to the world. Yes, the world. That's a very important standard, because when a company or something, an asset that you want to invest in, you want it to be as big as possible. My golly, that fly is huge. I'm serious. It's like the size of a quarter. It's gigantic. But anyhow, you want, I can't remember what I was saying, but anyhow, the world. So you want companies, you want assets to be very big. You want them to be sought after by a lot of people. And trust me, I'm getting back to my point as to where this is all going and how we can kind of predict the future. So, cryptocurrencies mixed with AI are by far the absolute best opportunities that we have to make money over the next 5 to 10 years. And it's going to be absurdly so. And I do have to bring up a little bit of politics. I'm going to stay as far away from politics as I can. I don't care who you like for president, who you don't, Republican, Democrat, I don't care. I like some things. I'll try to keep that opinion off the channel, but we will talk about things that affect our investments. Now, this big beautiful bill that just got passed, it's going to print some big beautiful dollars and add some gigantic money to the deficit, and it's going to inflow an absurd amount of cash into the system. And they raised the debt ceiling by about $4 trillion. So basically just gives them, the government basically gave themselves permission to spend $4 trillion on whatever they deem necessary. Now, the only nice thing is, with President Trump, he does have a strategic outlook and a longer term, and he's looking to buy investments for the country. That's a good thing. So here's how you utilize debt in a proper way. Like, stay away from debt if you can, but if you can use debt, like I do it, I use it on margin. So I have borrowed money that I put into investments so I can grow quicker on very well researched things, but I also manage that so that I don't get in trouble. So if you borrow a lot of money, dollars are pretty much worthless. And this big beautiful bill, just like I believe Biden's bill did the same thing, where it put a whole bunch of money into the economy, it makes every dollar more worthless. Every time that you print another one, every time you add another one to the pool, it makes everything else, it makes every other dollar more worthless, which in turn makes everything more expensive, but also is very good for assets, investments. And when we get into a cheaper money environment, like we're getting pretty close to the Fed being dovish, which means that they're going to lower interest rates, which means money is going to be even cheaper to acquire. So that means money would go into what is considered risk assets. So that's crypto, that's AI, that's things that people that don't have as much reputation or backing. Now, crypto, like I said, it's a whole new freaking monster because it's been around for 15 years, especially Bitcoin. And it's amazing. Now, you can't compare it to anything else because it does things differently than everything else. But nobody has basically wanted these assets for 15 years, and they're absolutely amazing. They're the infrastructure. So think about the infrastructure that built the internet, and think about life without the internet right now. I don't even know if it can exist because we do everything online. Everything. Businesses, I mean, we're not talking about just your household. Everything runs online. So think about that going away. It's probably not going to. It probably can't. So, I mean, if that goes away, we're all screwed anyhow, but or the power. But think about how important that is now. Now, yes, 35 years later. Now, with crypto and AI, I don't believe it's going to take that long. And we've already been 35 years into a digital age. In 25 years, it's been accelerating. So these are going to basically make crypto AI tech babies, and they're going to multiply like rabbits. It's going to be crazy. Now, the first mover advantage that you have now in crypto is basically you get 15 years of research and backing up and everything in these projects that you can research and see what they do and why they're still around before big money is even allowed to put any money there. And I'm talking about institutions, hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds. I mean, we're talking about the people that hold the wealth in the world. We're not talking about millions. We're not talking about billions. We're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars, okay? Globally. And when regulations and stuff start getting passed in the United States, which is an extremely powerful nation, starts buying cryptocurrencies and holding it as an investment for our country, and these acts, the Genius Act passed the Senate bipartisan. Now think about it right now. Like I said, I don't want to talk about politics, but we can all be at least somewhat aware that Republicans and Democrats are not getting along at all right now. And that's not a good thing. So for something to go through the Senate and pass 68-30, I believe that's what it was, in a bipartisan manner today, that's incredible. So it was unanimously agreed upon. So that means that it's not president specific or Republican or Democrat specific. That tells us long term. This is what I'm getting at with being able to predict the future, okay? This is a very important video. Like I said, take this in snippets if you need to, because I'm gonna roll with it. When I get on a roll, I need to stick with it or I'll lose it. So yeah, it's very, very important for us to research this stuff and understand why things are going to do better. And this is how we can predict the future. Now, so digital is easier. Yeah, I'm not even, scratch that. I'm going to show you why digital on my other dry erase board, why digital is, it's getting a little dark in here. Why digital is important, has been around for a very long time. So, hi Gizmo. So Amazon. So we're talking about monopolies here, and this is basically the reason why my biggest position is what it is. Amazon, digital commerce. Apple did digital devices. These were all scaled by these companies. Google scaled digital information. Facebook scaled digital relationships. Netflix scaled digital entertainment. Spotify scaled digital music. So, and then the company that I'm in is scaling digital capital. That's Bitcoin, okay? Now, some of the best places to put our money, some of the best investments are when they solve a problem. One of the biggest problems that wealthy people have is where to put their wealth, is where to store their money. So it's kind of like having a bunch of stuff. You need closet space, you need garage space. Well, when you have a lot of money, you need a place to put it. Well, Bitcoin kind of fits that bill. It's a place to digitally store your capital in a safe manner. And trust me, I've researched the absolute piss out of it. And it's wonderful. And my one company that I'm mainly in, is doing it better than anybody. So, now let's talk about adaptation, innovation, and blockbuster, and how we can predict the future. So, companies have to be able to adapt and innovate. That's very important. So, innovation and adaptation are two things that are very hard to, they're not easy to predict. So you don't know exactly what innovation, like there's great ideas all the time, but just because you have a great idea doesn't mean it takes off. So even though a company has a great idea and is innovating, doesn't mean that it's going to be big. And then adaptation is something that we're not 100% sure if a company can do later on, but there's some things that we can do to see if it'll work out. Just like with innovation. So adaptation, if a company has a very good balance sheet and has had good growth and got very well established and is a giant and they're able to adapt, they're going to stick around. So Walmart is an example of this. Walmart is a gigantic company. It's huge. Hundreds of billions of dollars. It's been around for a very long time, and it's one of the few physical retail stores that you can still go to. So they made it, but Walmart could have gotten taken out of business by something like Amazon because they're delivering groceries to your door. So Walmart had to adapt and change their business model up a little bit. They're making grocery shopping for you. They're doing self-checkout. They're finding different ways to spend less money and be better to the customer. So Walmart's a wonderful example of adaptation. Innovation, something like the internet. But if you want to go with, I guess I could have wrote down an actual stock, we can go with Apple. So Apple is a wonderful idea or example of innovation. The iPhone came out, Christmas, 15 years ago or something like that? I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but it's been a while. And they're drastically different than they are today. They basically made phones kind of popular. They did a very nice job innovating and expanding and growing. So adaptation and innovation are extremely important for your companies. So now, where does Blockbuster tie into all this? So Blockbuster, they eventually went bankrupt. They had a great business model, and they were physical movies and physical video games. It was a rental store, and they did very well for a very long time. Hi, Gizmo. What you doing, buddy? Anyhow, and I used to remember I went to Blockbuster. I had one not that far from where I live now, and going in there and renting a video game or picking out a movie with the family or your friends or something like that. It was a lot of fun. So I mean, at the time, would you have ever thought that Blockbuster was going to go out of business? No. But times started changing. Innovation started happening. So Blockbuster needed to adapt. And they needed to innovate. So there was a company that a lot of people are going to know that came along. So Blockbuster didn't adapt to the changing times, and it didn't innovate. They went bankrupt, they went out of business, and there was another business that came in and took their business. And that's a little company called Netflix. So Netflix came in and did what? Digital movie rentals. Or, at first, was physical. They mailed it to your house. So now you don't even have to go to the store anymore. Mail it to your house. In 2 days, you got a movie. Brilliant. Then what happened? They needed to innovate. They needed to adapt with the times. They needed to be more convenient for people because a day or two was now too long. People wanted to watch a movie now. So they're just going to go back to the movie store, right? Well, no, that's where digital movies came in. So you had a business that was wonderful from my childhood. They got absolutely obliterated because they didn't innovate or adapt. So if we can find companies that are going to innovate and adapt, that are going to use the upcoming things based upon, if you want to know where the best places to put your money is in investing, you just literally find where all the big people that have all the money are putting their money. Crypto, AI, and digital infrastructure is doing that. So we can even go over Amazon. So why is AI so important? I think crypto is going to go first because it's going to get regulated first. Now, don't get me wrong, AI is going to get regulated too because it has to. I believe Trump already signed a bill for that somewhere. Or maybe not a bill, something. Anyhow, so Amazon and AI, this is really cool. Amazon's an extremely big company. I talked about them over on the other board. Not only did they do digital commerce very well, better than anyone, they do something else better than anyone: distribution. You click a button, and in less than 24 hours, stuff is at your house. That's incredible to for that kind of a turnaround. And Amazon is such a big company, but they used AI to help make them more efficient. This is extremely important. So we can have companies that are already doing well, we can put our money there, but if we can find the things that are making these other companies do extremely well, I'd rather put my money there because that's what's going to do well. So AI made Amazon's distribution part of their business 20% more efficient because it analyzed their routes of delivery and order processing better than humans could. So they were able to save money, making their business better, and they're a big giant. They're going to innovate and adapt. So Amazon is still a big business that's going to continue to grow because of things like AI. And Amazon is also, I don't think I've heard anything official yet, but eventually they're going to take crypto as a payment. Shopify is already doing it, so Amazon is probably doing it, but I haven't seen that actual research, so I'm not going to show it as fact. But they'd be stupid not to. So these big, giant, massive companies are going to do extremely well because of these things. So where am I putting my money? Digital infrastructure, crypto, and the biggest ones. And I'm not just, because there's thousands. I think there's tens of thousands of crypto out there. And trust me, there's probably only going to be 20, 30, 40 of them that really do anything. We don't know. There's so many projects out there that how many things can really take off and do well for the long term? Not that many. So we've got to be very picky and specific as to where we put our money. So I definitely choose the top 3 big boys for sure. And there's reasons for that. A whole bunch of reasons for that. But this is why my portfolio is based in Bitcoin. And everybody's very, like, Bitcoin's at $100,000. Joey, I can't afford a Bitcoin. 95% of all investors don't have any Bitcoin. 95%. This is how early you are. It's at 100 grand and it hasn't even started yet. Wait till the United States of America buys the million Bitcoin that they want to buy, or buys any Bitcoin at all. Wait till, so the Genius Act that I was talking about earlier, I know I jump around a little bit, but the Genius Act, holy freaking crap. Stablecoins. Stablecoins is extremely good for traditional finance. And it's going to get digital, and it's not going to be a CDBC, which is a central bank digital currency. It's different, and that's a good thing. That's going to do very well for the crypto industry and some things, but it's also going to do very well for the traditional finance industry. So financial should do well, fintech plays should do well. You see where I'm getting with this? It's not that difficult once you start connecting the dots of, oh, this person said that, this is getting passed into law, so money is going to probably flow here. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. This is how the stock market, this is how investing works. So yeah, we just connect the dots, and I'm very good at research, and I love this stuff. I really like looking at innovation for the future, and I enjoy it. So since my research is so specific and so on point, what I do is I make very big bets that are very, like I said, dialed in. They're diversified. I have a 5-stock portfolio. That's it. This is my investing channel. I also teach people how to budget. But this is why I'm going to grow. My account, I'm telling you right now, you'll see my entire account. Right now it's sitting around $51,000-ish. I have 2 other accounts. 2? Kind of 3. One main other one than this. And then I also have a crypto account. I'll talk about my crypto account. I won't. Yeah, maybe I'll show my crypto account. It doesn't really matter. We'll see. But you'll definitely see my stock account, and then my other account I trade options in. So especially leaps, especially right now, leaps are wonderful for a bull market. Absolutely wonderful for a bull market. I'm actually reading a book on them right now. It's very good. It's called Intrinsic. I've been doing options for a long while, but it's always nice to brush up on different tactics. Now, I'm a pretty smart person, and I enjoy doing things like this, but I'm not smart just by myself. I'm smarter with the group of people that I have. So I have Discords, I have favorite YouTubers that I watch that are really good at what they do. I have an investor group that I started. I have a really big network of people that talk about a lot of things. So when my research starts pairing up with what some other people that have a very good reputation start saying, then things start making a whole lot more sense. And that's when I start putting it out there for my groups and stuff like that. So I don't pass things down to people that I think are bad ideas. And just because I pass it down to you doesn't mean that you put money into it. You got to do a little research yourself because, well, it's your decision. Anyhow. So that's kind of the stock market, and it's passive. That's how we kind of predict the future, and that's how we can do things. I'm a contrarian, so I do things a little different than everybody else because I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else, and that would be boring as crap. I look at things differently than everybody else, so I'm not going to get the same return as everybody else. Why in the heck would I want to just get a 10% return? Our money is losing value at about somewhere between 6.5% to 7.5% a year. 2 to 2.5% because of inflation, and somewhere between 4.5% to 5% because of money printing. Yeah, I said money printing because it's been shown that it's being printed at a rate of about 4.5%, increasing to 5% per year. So we have to get more than 7% a year just to break even. Think about that. So if you're in the S&P 500, you're literally only getting a 3% gain every year. You're going to show that 10% gain, but the value and cost of everything else is going to go up by 7% a year. So that's why it's extremely important to invest. And it's why it's extremely important to invest in good places. And this is why it's also important to get much better than a 10% return. So, and don't rebalance your account. This is a very, very important thing that a lot of people don't understand about the market, and at a time, I didn't either. Don't sell your shares. Trust me, don't sell your shares. We're building wealth. We're building up these assets. We're building up really good, solid companies. So if you want to join my community, I literally give you this information for $50 a year right now. There's a promotion going on. Once that promotion's over, it's $100 a year or $10 a month. For financial advice and investing advice, you're not going to find that anywhere. But if you can find it somewhere else that's better than mine, please go there and tell me about them so I can learn more too. I'm always growing, always learning. Because why not? But yeah, and then as my account grows, the cost of my community is going to grow because you're going to be getting increased value because I'm showing you what to do. And the sooner you get in, the better. Just like with stocks. People were a little scared to get in because they're like, the reputation's not there. But if you put the research in, it's easier to do. So come on in, check it out if you want to. This is what I do all the freaking time. And I'm going to take my account. The whole goal is to turn 50 grand into $1 million in 5 years. So by 2030. And yeah, Bitcoin, crypto, and AI are pretty much going to take me there. And then also my vast amount of experience in the market. I've been doing it for 10, 15 years. I've been doing it much better over the last several years. But the cool thing is you get to learn from my mistakes. So if you learn from my mistake, that saves you time, effort, frustration, and money. Yeah, trust me, you're going to want to do that, not what I did. But yeah, that's, I'm telling you guys, this is what it is. Crypto, AI, digital. You're going to be just fine. Bitcoin's going to lead the charge. There's about 10 or 15 crypto that I have my eye on right now. I only have a portfolio of 7 crypto and 5 stock because I'm very well versed in my companies and I put my money where my mouth is. Also, I do some trading. I'm not a huge trading channel because I like to teach people about long term. I have made some trade suggestions and one of them just worked out. Literally, I called it 29 days ago to buy a stock. It's up 30% since I called it. And I can't take full credit for that because it's in a Discord that I use too. But I wouldn't put something out there for somebody else unless I fully backed it, because they call it trades all the time, but I'm not going to just straight up give somebody else's trades in my community because that's not right. But when I see something myself that is like, yeah, I definitely believe in that and my research says the same thing, I'm going to post it in my community too. So you got my brain, my expertise, and my entire network behind everything. So it's finance and investing just Joey style. It's extremely cheap because I just care about people and I want people to do better. I like doing this stuff, so whether you come in and buy a spot or not, I'm going to still continue to do it. There's a 7-day free trial on it, and so if you don't like it during the 7 days, you can just cancel it, and then $50 or $100 a year. If you don't get enough value out of that, then that's like missing a night at the movies or something with a family of 4. So you're not really out a whole lot of money either. But I know what I'm doing and I like it. A lot. And then, so I want to get people to different share accounts. So the whole point is to buy, hold, and accumulate and get share increments of 100. So 100, 200, 1,000, 10,000, anything that's divisible by 100, because that's important for an income strategy later on with options. Very, very safe, very, very not risky, and very, very easy to understand options. So, and I'm working on an options course. I've taught options before, but I'm working on the Just Joey simple, easy option form, because you don't really need to know that much to do something and make income off of it. Trust me. You need to know just enough, because if you have too much information, you're going to screw it up like I did at one point. But yeah, most of the videos that I do, I know this is long, are me shooting with my cell phone or my laptop and screen recordings. I have some pretty good stuff about mindset in there. I teach people how to budget. It's pretty much an ask me anything too. You got questions, ask away. Ask them in front of in the community tab. Post anything you want in there. Well, not anything that you want in there. Be respectful and stuff. But the whole point is to grow together and be better with finances, and also look at it at the long term. But that's kind of this is how my mind works. This is how my brain works, and this is how I have some big trades out there right now because the writing's all over the wall, and I'm playing big because my research is on point. Some of it might work out, some of it might not, but I'm prepared to pivot if I need to in a trade. My investing, keep buying. That's it. It's DCA, dollar cost average. So every month, every paycheck, every week, as often as you can, consistently, you just keep putting money into these really good, solid companies, and I'll give you the suggestions on what to do and where to put it. Suggestions, because I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, all that happy bull crap. But yeah, I know what I'm doing. But be accountable for your own decisions, because it's your money and your decisions, and people don't like to be responsible for what they do, and they want to blame other people for them screwing up. If you're going to do that, then don't come here, because I don't like people like that. Just that simple. Yeah. I'll show you my dog one more time. That's Gizmo. And yeah, like I said, this is kind of what I do. I don't know if there's anything else that I can talk about the stock market at the current moment. I could talk about it for days, but I love it. I really do. And now I'm starting to ramble a bit, and I'm not giving you any value. So I'm going to shut this video down and probably go to bed, because I'm not sure what time it is. So one more time, this is Finance and Investing Just Joey style, and I will put the link in the description if you want to join my community. So, all right.